Some people really love mushrooms. See, not just to eat them, but they have this sort of affinity spiritually. Also, what it's showing is the mycelium that grow underground, but their purpose is to act as a communicator, facilitator between roots. So they help the trees and bushes to grow and be healthy. Ever since I saw that scientist talking about how she ran all these experiments and improved scientifically that trees do communicate with the roots, and it's like, whoa, really mind-blowing. Oh, this one's good. I love this story. The island of Morris Graves. And while I was on retreat at the Morris Graves Foundation, Morris Graves home, the lake they call it, I was sitting in the main house in the spot, was sitting in this exact spot where when I had visited Morris, he was sitting in this spot. And he was looking out at the lake and at all the islands. So when I was there, he already passed on. But I was sitting in his chair there looking out at the lake and just marveling at how beautiful it was. And all of a sudden this egret just flew up and landed right on the top of the stunted tree that was on this closest island. And I went, oh my God, it's Morris. He's come to say hello. And my hair just kind of stood up. So I grabbed a pencil and I sketched it, and poof, he was gone. And that was like the most fabulous experience of the whole retreat. Rain dance. We drive around Six Rivers National Forest, my husband and I, and we go out there and get firewood or Christmas trees or whatever. And it had all just been burnt out. And we came upon this little fir tree, was probably 10 feet tall. And it had been toasted by the forest fire. And next to it was this manzanita bush. And it had turned this beautiful mauve, pink, purpley mauve color. It was fabulous. And the two colors together were like stunning. And I thought, oh, how joyful these two colors are together in this devastated black tree trunks in the background. And I thought, oh, it looks almost like they're dancing together. So in that vein, I imagined them dancing together and bringing forth rain for the healing of the earth. This is a gift. It's a redwood tree, understory. In the canopy, there's a stellar jay holding this golden branch of cones. The cones are dropping seeds down. So it's representing the birth, rebirth, rejuvenation of the earth and the plants and the redwoods themselves. Out in the hills again, Six Rivers National Forest Roads, we came upon this oak tree that was so beautiful, hanging on the side of this hillside, and I thought, isn't that fantastic? This tree is hanging on, it's really strong, it seems really happy, and yet its roots are all exposed, and I thought, well, you know, just kind of take it as a metaphor for life, I guess. You have your roots hanging out, but you can still be strong and beautiful. This is Goat Rock, which is a rock just upriver from where we live. And I always wanted to do a painting of Goat Rock. I tried it in many different aspects. This sleeper, this woman right here, she's sleeping. And she's dreaming this occurrence. She's not dreaming of it. She's materializing it. She's energy that's blasting down from the cosmos. And I'm really into that now because of 3i Atlas and all the comets that are zooming around the cosmos and supposedly energizing the people and the planet to raise themselves up into a higher consciousness. And so that's what this painting is about. Here the rock people are standing around looking at the outcome of this golden rock being coming forward from Goat Rock, coming into reality. The Queen. My husband and I would sit on our back porch and look out at the hillside across the river and see the tree line and sit there, have a cocktail, look at the tree line, and imagine the trees that I was seeing looked like a queen sitting on the ridge line with her court around her. She's holding this staff, this scepter, and watching out for everything below. And this is below, which is the forest and the river. Of course, the sky is, that's all in egg temperate, and this is all in oil, so they have the difference between the sky and the earth here, this sunset painting. With the Queen. It's very psychedelic. Guardians at the Gateway. So on Highway 36, which is the road that I live off of, it goes from the coast inland. There's this spot where the coastal influence shifts to the inland. It's kind of right in the middle, it's on the cusp, and it's kind of a spot where the weather changes, the plant life changes, has a different feel. The moisture from the coast goes away, becomes drier. So here, and then there's this, it's a gorge, and this, the fog comes up the river, and there are guardians there. They're watching out. This is the guardian. And then this is this spiritual guardian. Looks like a little Buddha. Pile of rocks, I call them cairns. Blasting energy upstream. This is upstream. Here's a car coming around the bend. And what's weird is that there's this massive slide that happened right here at this spot on Highway 36. Hopefully it gets repaired properly. Okay, this is Fern Island. They're both the same island, and they're from the island at Morris Graves Foundation. When I was there on retreat, I did sketches. You can't, when you go to the retreat, there's no electronics allowed. So there's no phones, no cameras, nothing. So you have to sketch or paint or whatever you do. So I did drawings of the different islands, and this particular island is called Fern Island. In this painting, it's shown as white, and this one is shown as red. But the interesting thing about the lake is, from what I've heard and read, the lake was formed by a massive earthquake that happened 300 some years ago. The land sunk, and the land then that sunk filled up with water, and the treetops were sticking out of the lake. So as the tops of the treetops, as the trees deteriorated, they formed these little islands. So the islands there are only, some are like 8 feet in diameter, others are larger, maybe 20 feet, maybe not that much. But they're small, and they have all this stunted vegetation. Small trees, small plants, because it's all kind of like bonsai. So here you see, this is underwater, and this is the redwood tree standing underneath the water of the lake. These silver triangles, there's a lot of ducks on this lake. So they're swimming around. The lake's only 4 acres large, it's a small lake. So the ducks are swimming around, and the wakes look very silver. And then, the reason, this is, down here, this is the Japanese symbol for tsunami. So the reason that's important is because when this earthquake happened, it sent a giant tsunami to Japan, and because they are a very old civilization, they have it recorded in Japan. And that's how we know that this is, or surmise, that this is caused by a massive earthquake. The Blue Martyr. So I live next to a river, the Van Dusen River, and I spend time down on the river bar. This one day, this is a couple years ago, after high water, near flooding event, I was walking along next to the water. There's a lot of brush, alders and willows, and I came upon this yearling deer that was hanging, draped in the bushes, in the trees, and along with a lot of other debris, sticks and brush and roots, and I thought, wow, look at that, it's just amazing. And I started thinking about this flood of, of water, and made me think about how humans are being flooded with this, just being bombarded with so much technology that we are just being overcome by it. And so I imagined that this deer is showing us that nature has the ability to slow and stop this flooding. So this is the martyr, the blue martyr. And this up here is a binary. It says the blue martyr in ones and zeros. And then there's all this is my interpretation of technology that's just been slammed into this deer that's holding it back. So this is a grouping of fun stuff. Some of it's just light and like this one. Now, ever since I had grandchildren, I'm really into doing more childish pieces that would appeal to children because I make art for them as well. So this one down here, the thicket, it's just a little fun thing that this little rat thing and this little bird, they're talking to each other in the thicket. There's nothing heavy about it. It's just kind of like a kid's illustration. And this one, this is like sitting by the river around a campfire, sunset. I sometimes call it Future Farmer, and sometimes I call it the Plowman, but it's like a futuristic piece. It's like another planet or something, and here the character is dragging his foot to plow the ground. This one. I call it the Fat Walker, and sometimes I call it the walking tree. I'm not quite sure what this creature is right here, but the thing that I really like about this thing is the texture in the background, the crackle that I got going on here, and I'm all into crackle. This one I call the nest, the foul nest. I almost called it the fouled nest, but I decided not to do that. I just call it the nest. Birds here, you can see them. And this is the nest here. And gold leaf happening. And this one's called the beach towel. And it's a girl, a young woman, finding her way through the tules to reach the river. She has a halo, and she has a colorful beach towel. It's like making your way in the world as a young person. I just call it the curious landscape. It's got some gold leaf. I like what's happening down here. Actually, I like this community. It's like some sort of a shrine, perhaps, with the red halo around it. This is the Inquisition of the cone. This one looks really sort of childlike, but it's actually pretty heavy. The cone, this is futuristic. I do futuristic stuff. And it doesn't really look like it, but it is. So the cone is this natural piece of nature. However, it's in this fractured world where this mechanical fly is examining it, questioning it. What are you doing here? Who said you could be here? What is your purpose? It has eyeballs coming at it, and that's the Inquisition. Oh, here, we're back to mushrooms here. This is the mushroom picker in the wildwood, right here. This fella, or could be a woman, don't know, creature, person, is examining, picking mushrooms in this crazy wild wood. Cloudworm with attachments. So it says plant, or it's a cloudworm, you know, you have this technology as these clouds, or they store stuff in clouds, and then they talk about these worms, and so this is my interpretation of a cloudworm, and these are the attachments, which is it's a silly thing, kind of fun, kind of curious. And this one's Yo-Yo Boy. Just a fun thing. If anybody was ever into yo-yos, I really couldn't do it very well. My brother was pretty good at it, but so he's doing, I don't know what that one's called. They all have different moves. The one where you fling it out, it goes around. And so here's a hand, forearm, doing a yo-yo, and there's a little boy doing it. This is Yo-Yo Boy here. He's got something going on there.